Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris. It's great to speak to you about episode 5 of series 1 of Singletown. And they actually get to meet up and decide whether they're going to stay in Singletown or they're going to leave. Now, which one of the couples do you want to start with today?
I think we'll start with what we'll do, Dave. We'll start sort of like as the episode went, but the ones where there wasn't much going on, and then it just sort of snowballs until the end. So it was quite good at the end. So I wanted to start, if possible, with Claudia and Rob. So they get together. They get on the stage. You've got Emily there and Joel, and they have two boxes together. Obviously, they can see in front of them what's in the box. One box has like a yellow heart. One box has nothing. They can see and they pick. So they basically, it's almost like a wedding box, isn't it? Like, like a wedding ring box, like a jewelry box. And straight away, Rob picks the heart and Claudia doesn't. And what that means is if they have two hearts, they leave the show. If either of them have the opposite, or if they both have a black box with no heart on it, they stay in the experiment. So I think Rob had the heart and Claudia didn't, and there was plenty of tears, wasn't there, Dave? Plenty of tears.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, though, you could see it coming a mile off, couldn't you? I mean, from day one, I just think Rob has been, he's been sociable, he's been chatty enough with the group, but he's not really been interested in anyone else yet. Straight from the off. I mean, Claudia was in tears when she saw Rob crying, talking to that blonde girl, and then, but she wants her cake and eat it as well. She wants to go off and enjoy a single life, but she doesn't want Rob to do the same. So I don't know how I feel about that, other than it was predictable. I mean, what did you make of it?
Yeah, I think it was. I think Claudia needs this time to grow. I do think, Dave, honestly, a lot of the partners, the ones who are edited as, say, not the weaker ones, but the ones who seem to be having a bit less confidence or they're the ones doubting the relationship. These are the ones who seem to come to the front in this episode. Like Claudia, she wanted to do this, and we said this, didn't we, when we watched like the first episode?
Yeah.
Rob wasn't so sure. And I still think she wants to do it. And I still think she's trying to find somebody out there. But also, I do think she's done it as a way to try and escape from Rob. I think Rob is very cocksure of himself. Not wrong with that. He hasn't really done anything wrong throughout these 5 episodes. I just think she's trying to find something that probably is right in front of her. And and obviously we've got a lot more episodes to go, but I sort of get that, and I appreciate what they were doing as a couple. So Rob was gutted. She was gutted, but I also think she wants to see if she can find somebody.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that, is it that, because he seems like a good enough bloke to me from how he comes across on the camera. But is it that, when he's in his comfort zone, he's kind of like just a bit blasé, maybe taking her a bit for granted, and maybe that's been a bit for too long. You don't know, do you? We hear the words as to what their reasons are in terms of coming in, but it does make me wonder just what exactly that last was. It 3 years with them two? I
Yeah.
can't remember, but it was something like that. So yeah, she definitely wants to get out there, doesn't she? So and honestly, I don't know if there's anything she could do where Rob would call her out on it. He seems to be just like, yeah, totally understand, gutted, but
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
I
with you. I'm
respect your
with you.
decision.
See ya. See you next week. But
Yeah.
also, if you move on to one of the couples that's bugged the hell out of me is George and Sophie. I just think George has there's some narcissistical arrogance about him, unfortunately. I think he's genuinely loves Sophie, and some of the stuff he said, as much as he was horrible to that young lady a couple of episodes ago on the date, he did sort of say, didn't he, like, she's the girl everyone looks at in the room. The one thing I didn't like was when they came together, he embraced her. And then he went and he whispered in her ear, I just want to go home, Sophie. And it's like, but you're still manipulating him. Me and Sam are watching him, and Sam sat there going, don't you fucking dare pick him. Don't you dare pick him. Honestly, proper invested in it now. And it came to the boxes and he picked the heart and she didn't. And honestly, Sam was proper like fist pumping, going, yes. And then even even Emily Attack said the same, didn't she? She's like, girl power,
Yeah,
because he was, and then he really turned sinister, was dropping snide little comments to her.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it could just be a defense mechanism, but I don't like this kid at all at the moment. He genuinely is coming across like he's controlling her. Could be fancy editing, it could be anything, Dave, but I just think she's doing the right thing. And she even said she's got like something with somebody else, which we know is the box amazing, and that they have a nice thing. I mean, what did you think of that?
Yeah, I thought it was controlling as well, to be honest. I thought, it's clear what the rules are, it's clear what the essence of the game is, and he's just trying to bypass all of that. He's trying to get in there, pretend he's having a bit of a hug, but just almost like telling her, like, come on, I just want to go home.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And she didn't go for it. And I thought that was, to be honest, there was two good moments in this show, and that was one of them, Dave, without a doubt. It really was. So I was pleased for her. Where it
Yeah.
goes, obviously, we've got another 10 episodes to go, haven't we? 9 or 10 episodes.
I tell
So
you what, though, I would be very, very surprised. I think her head's gone.
mm, yeah, I do. And I good on her as well. It could be good for George as well, to be fair,
Yeah,
Dave.
yeah,
It
yeah.
might give him a bit of perspective and think, you know what, I've lost somebody there that I shouldn't have, and hopefully he'll grow as a person. I'm not completely shitting on the guy. I just think it just didn't come across well. And the fact that the fucking presenter's like, yes, girl power, I was thinking, yeah, that sort of validates what I and you were both thinking, to be honest.
Yeah, because it's always, we're always mindful it's edited, isn't it? So you can, take little scenes out of context, but he's not come across well. And like you say, he's fucked it. I think he realizes he's fucked it now, so he shouldn't have rolled the dice in the first place. Didn't realize what he had. He's rolled the dice, and now he's trying to, put the cat in the bag, or any other adage that you want to fucking roll out. But
Right.
anyway,
Anyway, yeah. So the next one, we had Jeremiah and Selling. Now, that was quite fiery. They came together as soon as Jeremiah clapped eyes on Selling. She had the resting bitch face, Dave, quite rightly, because she'd seen him kiss in that the first date he went on. And I must admit, watching it back, Dave, I don't agree with it, but I do think it wasn't as bad as I remembered. I thought it was like a full-on snog. He sort of went in for the kiss, but it wasn't for long, was it? And he pulled back and even said himself he made a mistake. And when she called him out on it, fucking hell, it all just kicked off. He just stormed off, didn't he? But I think she was right to do that. She's well within her rights, because it embarrassed her. She'd been nothing but respectful, even when the guy she'd met who tries to get a number in the previous episode, she still went. She went on a second date, but she wasn't interested at all.
yeah. And I'd said in the last episode, I'm not sure what his motivations are. I feel honestly like he was called out by the group, but I'm also open to thinking, well, even if whoever called him out on it, maybe he's just never been called out like that before, and maybe he
Yeah,
has actually thought about it and thought, you know what, it's I fucked up a bit there, because it has modified his behavior. We saw from that, the 3 dates that he went on in the last episode. So I don't know. These come across like that toxic couple, don't they? That you don't want to invite to your party because you know they're going to end up arguing, and like they're both going
yeah.
to get too drunk and what have you. And I think there's clearly not anything right. But I tell you what I think of though, Chris. I think it was Temptation Island season 1, and there was a couple in there, and straight away they're bickering about everything under their breath, and they're just like pretty much almost splitting up there. They haven't even got separated off and gone into the different villas or anything. And by the end of the season, they end up married. And they'd been together as well, they'd been together for a long time, through being, teenagers and growing up and whatever, and hadn't really experienced relationships outside of that. So they kind of grew as people by being single and being out there, and then it made them, or it seemed to make them, appreciate actually what they had. And so I just wonder, up until this moment, probably even as we're just talking about it now, I hadn't really even entertained any other idea that, Selin's going to realize that actually she does have worth. She has a life outside of being with Jeremiah. That meeting went down exactly how you would expect it to go. I think I think though, if Jeremiah continues on the path that he's started, I think there might just be a little crack in the door. The door might not be completely closed there. So who knows though? But we love a bit of drama, don't we, Chris?
Not wrong with that, Dave. I got to say his coat game was on point. That fucking 3/4 length coat he had on was excellent as he walked off. He did look pretty stylish, Dave.
Like
I'll give him
Neo
due,
from the
but
Matrix, like.
yeah, he looked pretty good actually. Thinking more like Rodney Trotter out of the Fields and Horses. But anyway,
Now I couldn't. The three couples we've discussed so far, for me, it's very predictable how it all would go. Elliot and Charlie, I just couldn't really call. But, I guess I kind of had the feeling, so they both opted they were going to stay in Singletown, didn't they? But leading up to it, it's been a roller coaster with these pair. We've seen them have good connections with other people. But in the same respect, there's a lot of emotions wrapped up in the existing relationship, isn't there? So I just didn't really know if they would opt to stay or if they would leave, or at least one of them would choose to leave.
yeah, it's funny because obviously, like you said, they both picked the black box. There's no heart there. Elliot said, like, the relationship. Well, it was sort of like the trust and everything else wasn't there, and they were both absolutely looked like emotional wrecks, didn't they, Dave?
Yeah,
Absolutely. And I think Charlie came across quite well. Elliot did, to be honest, the way he explained it. I don't necessarily think they've done anything wrong. They've done what the show has asked of them, haven't they? And obviously, Charlie's got an admirer, the guy with the blonde hair who's been literally in every episode, hasn't
Hayden
he? Even Hayden, yeah, it looks like there's something there between them at least.
and Mitch
I know
with Elliot.
Mitch, yeah. So, like I say, I wasn't sure on Hayden though. Was he just doing it for the TV time? But he's still there, Dave. He's still there. So whether something gets together with them two, I'm not sure. But I think that's the right decision. I don't think there's anywhere else they could go. They certainly can't reconcile at the moment, Dave. Maybe as the show goes on, there might be a chance of something. But at the moment, that is definitely the right call for the two of them.
Yeah, and it's one of those. It was emotionally charged, obviously, but whereas with say George and Sophie, you get the impression like that's it. I mean, she was ice cold, wasn't she? There
Yeah.
was no emotions there. That's why I think the doors closed. To be honest, but it was kind of plausible the way they both explained it. They haven't finished their journey there yet. It wasn't saying I'm definitely this is never going to happen kind of thing. So yeah, I think it'll be entertaining. It'll be fun to see like where does that actually go? Because again, honestly, Chris, I can't call it. Are these going to end up together? Are they going to end up separated? Honestly, no idea.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Dave, the final couple of the show, and this one has a, a bit of a story behind it, David, doesn't it?
It certainly does, Chris. And I'm just going to fucking stay quiet while you grovel your fucking arse off.
Oh, there's no groveling here, Dave. But the last couple's Natasha and Luke. Now, the last couple of days, Dave, obviously, this was filmed last September 2019. It was on for like a 2 or 3 week period, pretty much after Love Island. It had obviously been filmed at some point earlier on last year. And we're just watching it purely because there's no Love Island. We wanted something different, something fresh. And it's available on the ITV Hub as a binge watch. And we are just watching it episode by episode. So we genuinely don't know what's happened. But I'm pleased to say that we've been contacted by a couple of the contestants as well, or three contestants actually. We've had Charlie contact us, and we're hoping to get Charlie on at the end of the whole review that we do and chat about the show. And honestly, he's a good guy, so he's definitely, hopefully, going to be coming on. And then we've got another contestant contact us who isn't actually in the show yet, so I'm not going to mention her name because if anyone who's watching along with us,
Yeah.
I don't even know
Spoiler
what
alert.
happened. Spoiler alert. But it doesn't, it's sort of a pretense of what happens in episode 5. So Natasha and Luke, they get together and love is there, Dave. I'd said, didn't I? Luke had reprieved himself slightly in the last episode or so. He'd had a second date with a witch, but have a guess who we got a tweet off, Dave? It was Luke. Now,
No, it wasn't a
this
tweet though, was it? He slid into our
it's a
DMs.
direct. He did, yes. Which I saw that you were nowhere near, Dave, as they
I was
slid into
fucking
my
leaving you to
yeah.
deal with that. It's Homer
So
Simpson
Luke,
backing into a
yeah,
hedge.
fucking damn right. If we ever get arrested for anything, you are definitely pointing that Peter Kay finger at me. You'll be like, it's him,
Fucking
it's him.
arrested? What are you talking about? What else have you been doing?
Anyway, Luke contacted us, and in the first episode, as we are reality TV show veterans, I am obviously the king of watching reality show. We're actually watching another Married to Medicine Los Angeles, Dave. New York's been on today as I record this. So it never slips away. The way that first show was edited with Luke, I honestly believe that Natasha was fully in for everything. I stand by what I say. It just made it out as if Luke had no care for her and that he had sort of been some infidelity in the relationship. That's how I saw it. That's how I called it. I stand by that. Luke contacted us and said, "What's this about?" And he's happy for me to read this out, by the way, because we had a bit of a backwards and forwards. And it basically says, listen to the first episode of the podcast. You've been saying that I cheated all about the town. I don't know where you got that from. It was never said on the show. Just confused why you said it. So I just come out and I explain exactly as I said. You know, we've watched 4 episodes. It's purely going off what we see. Well, I had seen, Dave, because I couldn't actually remember whether it was me or you had said it, to be fair. But then you quite rightly messaged me and went, "Yeah, it was you." Which I
Honestly,
love.
I had to fucking go back and listen because I thought,
Yeah,
Luke, I thought, I remember thinking Jeremiah,
yeah.
he'd been called out for all the cheating and stuff.
That's
But to be fair, Chris, I'll stand in the dock with you because I listen back and I'm like agreeing with you for some fucking reason. I've done too many of these podcasts with you where you just fucking engage in your verbal diarrhea, and then I'm just like, yeah, right, okay,
fucking get lost with
sneaking a cup of tea. So yeah, but my overriding impression wasn't honestly the same as yours. The thing that I thought was he was so laid back. He was horizontal. He just he almost didn't care. It felt to me in that first episode, he didn't care whether that relationship went on or didn't. Or rather, I think he was quite happy with the status quo, but he wasn't
Yes.
happy to make the leap that Natasha wanted him to make. And so, he's just kind of
Yeah.
very laid back about it, and that was irritating her a bit more. So, but yeah, I listened back and I was like, "Fucking hell!" I don't genuinely don't remember that at all. But yeah, good call,
Yeah, it was
good call,
definitely me,
Chris.
Luke. Yeah, well done. Yeah. I mean, obviously, the day of social media, you're going to probably get that day. We have had some sort of likes and stuff off some of the Love Island cast in the past, but yeah. Anyway, so what he came to top and tail was it's my interpretation. I take full responsibility of it. I spoke to Luke. I even apologized and said, "Look, I'm sorry you felt like this is just my interpretation. What a lot of reality stuff, and that's it. And I'm not going to change that, Dave. That is who I am. That's what the show's about." He obviously hasn't done it, going off the tweets and stuff. We've had some messages backwards and forwards, but that's how I felt at the time. Anyway, I'm getting right out of that hole with a big shovel, Dave. And let's just say that it ended nicely because they both went off into the sunset.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I didn't think they'd both leave. I seen kind of, Luke seemed to get on with Anna. I think it was, wasn't it, the half witch. I think Natasha got on okay with Adam, but honestly, I think they could have paired her with someone better. Someone who turns up in a gym t-shirt, as ripped as he was. I wasn't sure. When she's dolled up to the nines, wasn't sure how that one was going to click. So, but you know what, Chris? We're watching. Well, I guess everyone was watching this for the first time when it was first on. So we're learning the rules as they go on. So before this, I didn't even know that they had an opportunity to leave together or stay. On Love Island, they just randomly introduce people, don't they? And then you end up odd man or odd woman out. So yeah, it's just interesting. And as much as like when we say about people who go on Love Island, they're really doing it for an Instagram following more so than they're actually going on to find genuine true love. Whereas it seems in this case, Exhibit A, Your Honour, this seems to have had a positive impact on this couple.
Mm, yeah, it does, because by all intents and purposes, I think they've actually had a baby together, Dave. So congratulations to them two. So that what can you say, Dave?
No, that's great. And obviously, first Singletown baby, Chris. So, yeah, good on him.
Yeah, congratulations. And my Cilla Black Mystic Mega predictions, I'm having to keep my head down, I think, Dave.
Your predictions this year have just been absolutely spectacularly bad, haven't they?
Yeah, just a little bit. But I also think as well, one thing I would say, Dave, with the fact that Luke contacted us direct, is the fact that I stand by what I said. The real people. You make a comment like that, whether it's flippant or not, or whatever, it's an observation for the show, we're a reality show. It has an effect. Someone on fucking Love Island don't give a fuck, did it, to be honest, because they have no reason. They know full well that these relationships fault. This is a genuine relationship with, like, they've lived together for years and stuff. So no, I accept that, and I think that's why I like the single town format, like the Temptation Island as well.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's just a shame we're not going to get it for another year at least now, are we? I don't know if, they were going to be commissioned. They were planning to do a second season, but obviously with the lockdown and everything, they won't be able to do it this year. So hopefully, I'm quite looking forward to a season, next year if we can get it together,
Yeah,
if we're all allowed out
yeah,
and can
exactly.
mingle again.
Exactly. And we go into episode 6, and I'm looking forward to this one. I can get straight on this after the show. So, no, great stuff. And if anyone wants to contact us at cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And as always, drop us a review in your podcast catching up, guys. And hopefully.
You know what? Right, so the rebranding of Chris and Dave's reality cast has just had an unintended consequence, I think. Because the way you've just pronounced that, then you went, you get us at the CD reality cast,
The CD
as in like SEEDY.
Oh, right. It just rolls off my tongue, Dave. You know.
Just have a breath between the C and the D. The CD. No, it's still not word, does it? It's still fucking CD.
The Seed reality cast. Anyway, yeah, you get what I'm talking about, people. I'll see you next time.
Bye now.